This young man possessed a powerful sect that countless people revered. Everyone believed he was the strongest in the world. But inside, he was a weak, incompetent, and useless person. This was a world of beast tamers, where both beasts and humans coexisted. Owning rare and powerful beasts meant having everything, as they could summon storms and destroy the world in an instant. The ruler of this world was a young man named Luang. Because of the beast within him known as *Wei than Xiam Deep*, a rare divine beast said to exist only in legends. Not only could it reverse time and causality, but it also granted eternal life. What made him even more special were his eyes, crescent moons that glowed brightly, reflecting the longing and favor of the moon god. All of these traits made him the Sailor Moon, no, the Moon King, admired and pursued by countless people worldwide. At the Moonlight Beast Taming Academy, a young man was sitting in front of a computer screen, reviewing documents. "This is truly impressive," he muttered. "To rise to the top of the world based on a legendary beast and a distinctive appearance, commanding millions of followers. What could be more powerful?" He read with such intensity that sweat dripped from his brow, pointing at the screen with a trembling hand. He thought, "I didn't think there was anything stronger than that. But here he is, the Moon King. To Luang, that's me." Sighing, he slumped back into his chair. Yes, this young man was To Luang. A few hours earlier, he had been transported from 21st century Earth to this world of beast tamers and had received fragments of the original owner's memories. The invincible Moon King had died by accident, rolling out of bed while sleeping, with no apparent reason for his death. If being transported to another world was already considered a stroke of luck, To Luang now faced a harsh reality. Trembling, he opened his status panel. Beast Tamer * 1 star To Luang. Companion Beast * Xiam Quang Deep, a low-level moonlight butterfly. Contracted Beasts * None. Pointing at the screen, he shouted, "The Moon King's beast. What fate is this? It isn't even Wei than Xiam Deep. Some legendary level beast." Frustrated, he lay his head down on the desk. The information about the original owner of this body was like wooden stakes driven into him. Awakened a beast at 14. Became the head of the new students at the Moonlight Beast Taming Academy. Was crowned the Moon King at 55. And at 56, the Double Moon sect was founded because of him, elevating him to sect leader with millions of followers. Moreover, on the night before he was to start at the academy at 17, he received a challenge from Emperor Thuong Wei. 3 years later, they would face off in a decisive battle. Learning all of this left To Luang in despair. This is a joke, right? This has to be wrong. But the original owner hadn't lied. He truly believed himself to be powerful and was convinced that *Xiam Quang Deep was the incarnation of a divine beast that would reveal its true form in times of desperation. Believe, and it will come. The original owner had always said. Even when facing an 8-star beast tamer like Emperor Thuong Wei, he never showed an ounce of fear. He had indeed been awe-inspiring and fearless. To Luang covered his head in frustration and said, "Enough already. If I hadn't seen the illustrated book of my own beast, I might have actually believed it. Whatever, let's just take a look at my own beast." To Luang summoned Xian Quang Deep. Wow, it's really cute, but for some reason, the more he looked at his pet, the more annoyed he felt. What am I supposed to do? Don't even mention Emperor Thuong Wei. In 3 years, I won't even be able to defeat the elites in the academy. Without a special advantage, catching up to Thuong Wei in 3 years is an absolute fantasy. Wait, speaking of special advantages, it seems like there might actually be one. Something buried deep in the original owner's memory. From an unknown origin, strangely, the original owner seemed to strongly reject it. This thing was called *Wei Kai 2*, an illustrated book. Each page had names and drawings of beasts. Carefully examining the content, To Luang realized that simply touching a beast in reality that was featured in the book would activate the illustration. When the collection reached a certain level, it would be like drawing a card in a game, and he could summon a pet of an uncertain rank. Turning to the page of advanced creatures, the book only had the name *Wei than Xian Deep*, but there was no illustration. The reason the original owner rejected the *Wei Kai 2* was because it contradicted his belief that he possessed the *Wei than Xian Deep*. Putting the book away, To Luang's expression darkened. Hey, no wonder. But To Luang quickly gathered his resolve. This was the Wei Quang Beast Academy. Surrounded by beasts, Meeting Wei Kuang was simple. First, he needed to save up for 10 consecutive draws. Maybe then he could pull the Wei then she and deep asterisk. Haha, he thought and sprang into action. The 3-year deadline was still distant. But the urgent matter now was avoiding attention and quickly becoming stronger. At the premium dormitory of the Wei Kuang Beast Academy, a cat-eared girl was playing with her pet. Tiu mean, come here and eat some grass. A short-haired girl standing nearby, not pleased, said, Bok Wei Nhi. If you keep feeding these low-level creatures, what if they attach themselves to you? Bok Wei Nhi dismissed her concern. Relax, Tagun. Of course, I won't make a contract with a low-level Wei Kuang. It's just for fun. Tagun frowned. How can you say it's nothing? You're an elite student. If you get too involved with low-level spirits, you won't be able to attract powerful beasts. She then dreamily added, Wei Fuang never even interacts with ordinary beasts. Don't even mention mid-level or high-level beasts. He doesn't even glance at super-level ones passing by. Suddenly, the rabbit raised its head and looked in a certain direction. Tagun continued to chatter. It must be that Wei then she and deep asterisk hates the scent of these small fries. At that moment, the rabbit ran up to someone. Both Tagun and Bok Wei Nhi turned and shouted simultaneously. Wei Than. Indeed, the rabbit had been drawn to none other than the main character. To Luong. The two girls blushed like fangirls meeting their idol, their crescent moon eyes full of awe and pressure. Just one glance was enough to make people think about him, utterly devoted in their hearts. To Luong stared at Bok Wei Nyi's cat ears and froze. Could she be the product of a human and a beast? No, that's not right. The image of the Moon King shouldn't be associated with too many beasts. It would be best for him to leave as soon as possible. Suppressing his curiosity, To Luong turned away and walked off. He looked up at the moon hanging over the dome and realized. So this is Wei Luong Quan. Judging by the number of low-level pets in the museum, if they were all unlocked, he could draw once. As he walked down the corridor, To Luong noticed tiny glowing specks floating around. He touched a newly unlocked beast, and the number of illuminated illustrations in the Wei Kai 2 increased. To Luong was astonished. The Wei Kai 2 can detect specific information and combat skills? It truly deserved to be called his golden finger. The floating creatures followed To Luong until he approached a certain door, at which point they scattered and dared not come closer. He deduced, this place is so desolate that even low-level beasts don't dare approach. It seems this must be the territory of some mid-level beast. Pushing the door open, he was overwhelmed by the sight before him, a beautiful white deer lying peacefully. Next to it was a sign, Bok Wa Lok, white deer. A mid-level Wei Kuang beast. The white deer was considered one of the most beautiful mid-level beasts. Although rare in the entire beast world, it was gentle, fond of eating grass, and loved bathing under moonlight. Due to the species' extreme selectiveness in choosing a mate, its population had become critically rare. Only the Wei Than Kung still maintained the true facilities for nurturing white deer. To Luong was dumbfounded. Could it really be this exaggerated? Two students entered from behind. One, with pouty lips, gasped, Holy, Wei Luong Quan isn't supposed to open its doors for free. How can they spend so much on a mid-level beast? I've never seen any other beasts getting this kind of treatment, muttered the other student. Maybe it's because of its looks. The first continued, Look at how beautiful it is. Doesn't it give off this vibe that makes you feel like, I mean, for some wealthy people, it might just be their cup of tea. Not necessarily as a mate. But you get what I'm saying. Before he could finish, water splashed directly at him. The two students, faces stunned, turned to see the white deer glaring at them in fury. Without hesitation, they took off, their movements akin to motors propelling them away. No way. Could it actually understand what we're saying? Upon hearing that some mid-level beasts possess high intelligence and are quite similar to humans, To Luong urged himself and his companions to move quickly. To Luong looked closely at the deer. This small, white deer truly appeared stunning and majestic. It wasn't surprising that he now understood how so many hybrid species came to be. The white deer glanced at To Luong, as if asking, What are you staring at so much for? But then, it found itself inexplicably drawn to his eyes, moving closer unconsciously to inspect them. Suddenly, the asterisk moon scripture appeared, revealing new information. A new beast had been unlocked, illuminating another illustration. The supreme moon chasing cloud stepper. To Luong was stunned. How could this be? This wasn't just an ordinary mid-level deer, it was a supreme-level beast. Capable of decimating an entire city and annihilating nations. A supreme-level beast, revered as the sovereign of its kind, commanded an overwhelming presence that could make lesser creatures perish from sheer shock. If it went berserk, hundreds of miles of territory could be laid to waste. Panic set in for Luong. Why was this walking nuclear bomb even present in an academy? The whole school could be obliterated at any moment. Wait, stay calm. The fact that this supreme beast could be here safely suggested that it must have a docile temperament. The school likely knew it wouldn't harm anyone arbitrarily. In his mind, Luong imagined what might have happened to the two students earlier. If those students had experienced more than just being spat on and released so easily, the consequences would have been catastrophic. Luong's thoughts raced. Perhaps someone was playing the part of the sheep disguised as a tiger. Like protagonists in popular novels, beings with immense power who pretend to be weak to catch others off guard. Unlike them, he really was pathetic, frail, and helpless, only capable of intimidating others through appearance. The deer approached the signboard and glanced at it before looking back at Luong. It seemed displeased by what it saw on the board. So, you know there's something off about your description, don't you? Luong suddenly considered the possibility that the deer might attack him. Could it be that he had lingered too long and revealed too much? Risking exposure? Luong quickly put on an act. Oh wow, this mid-level white deer is really beautiful. I must have been staring unconsciously. Ha ha ha. He laughed outwardly while feeling sheer terror inside. Regardless of why this terrifying creature is here, I definitely don't want to be caught up in its affairs. Pretending to glance around for a moment, Luong casually shut the door. Then, without hesitation, he bolted away. From behind the closed door, the deer fell into deep thought. What were those patterns in his eyes earlier? Who exactly is he? The deer approached the bed, pulling out an object. Oh no, Luong thought. This deer knows how to use a smartphone. It searched the web for information about Luong, and upon finding some, it was stunned. The dormitory area of the Beast Taming Academy was dangerously unpredictable. Who would even allow such a thing? This is no different from placing a Tyrannosaurus Rex in a zoo. Not to mention, even though that white deer appears the way it does, with just one hoof, it could crush several T-Rexes. If I were to encounter the moon pursuer in the wild, I would surely be doomed. After all, only a supreme-level beast can truly match another of the same level. And my pet is just an adorable low-level creature. If not for the golden cheat, the Illustrated Moon Record Book *, which not only displays various beasts, but also reveals the skills they possess. Doesn't this mean I can know every skill of the beasts I've touched? In other words, I can pretend to be confident now. Luong struck a cool pose. Everything you have is already in the palm of my hand. First, he decided to find a small beast in the academy. To prove his theory, he summoned the Illustrated Moon Record Book and began searching covertly. Soon, Luong noticed the small rabbit by the fountain. Isn't that the moonlight rabbit I saw during the day? Approaching it, he observed the rabbit closely. Strange. According to the hierarchy of beasts in this world, moonlight beasts under the moon naturally gain a significant boost in combat power and physical strength. But why wasn't this rabbit reacting to the moonlight? Luong had a wild thought. Could it be another case of the predator pretending to be prey? Oh, my fate. Looking at its regal, calm posture, he thought, could it be a beast even stronger than a supreme level one that I touched by chance? Shivering, Luong whistled to steady himself and reached out toward the rabbit. Time to use the encyclopedia function of the Illustrated Moon Record Book to reveal your true nature. Let's see who you really are. The book glowed, and information appeared. Moonlight rabbit, physically deficient type. Due to an inherent physical weakness, it suffers from a genetic defect. It cannot absorb moonlight to enhance its strength on normal nights. Only on the night of the full moon, when the moon is at its fullest, does it possess combat power. Oh, my fate. Isn't this weaker than even the lowest level beasts? Luong sighed and held his head in disappointment. What kind of twisted fate is this that keeps happening to me? Suddenly, he heard something drop. He turned, still holding the rabbit, and saw Bai Wei Nhi hiding in the corner. Peeking out, she saw Moon Fang stroking a low-level rabbit, and wondered, Could I have stumbled upon Moonfang's secret by accident? Returning to her room, Tu-gun, who was doing her skincare routine, said, "So, you're back?" Bai Wei Nhi stayed silent. Tu-gun asked, "What's wrong?" Nervously, Wei Nhi stuttered. "Do you think it's possible that? I mean, could it be? Moonfang really likes small animals?" Tu-gun looked at her carefully. "Did you study too hard and lose your mind? I'll request a day off for you tomorrow." Embarrassed, Wei Nhi ran off. "Ha ha, I was just joking." She slammed the door shut. Bok Wei Nhi quickly slipped out of her dress. So, even the unmatched Moon King has such a gentle side, she thought. Am I the only one who knows this side of him? Despite witnessing her image of him crumble, she found it rather endearing on second thought. Maybe the girls who love reading stories about domineering kings would enjoy this. Tu Luong, with an indifferent expression, opened the door. "Whatever. I'm exhausted from tossing and turning all night. I just want a good sleep." Outside the window stood a dark-skinned woman wearing a revealing outfit, with 2 horns on her head. Tu Luong shuddered. Who is she? No, that's not right. This isn't even a human form. Could it be a humanoid beast? The suffocating pressure made Tu Luong's face go pale. It's even stronger than the moon pursuer. The aura was beyond anything he could comprehend. Tu Luong was so scared that he couldn't move. The 2-horned girl walked forward and knelt on one knee, saying, "Greetings, Moon King. Greetings, Lord Moon God. Wait, I recognize her from the original owner's memories. She must be one of the 4 moon generals of the Double Moon sect. But which one? I don't even know her name." The entire room fell silent. This is indeed the Moon King, the world's strongest beast tamer. A living legend, even in silence. He radiated divinity and majesty. The 2-horned girl mistakenly thought Tu Luong was showing his authoritative aura. But in reality, he was screaming for help in his head. Feigning calmness, Tu Luong cleared his throat and asked, "What's the matter?" The 2-horned girl let out a small breath and respectfully replied, "Master, according to recent surveys of the central region, remnants of the Black Moon sect have been actively operating in 6 central territories, especially engaging in advanced technical interactions with the beast tamers of the Moon God's palace." Tu Luong's eyes widened. The Black Moon sect? What is that? Why don't I have any memories of it? Turning his back and bending slightly, Tu Luong tried to keep his composure. The 2-horned girl softly called out, "Master?" He raised his hand to stop her. "Wait, don't speak. I'm trying to remember." "Yes, my lord," she replied, falling silent. In reality, Tu Luong was frantically searching on his phone for information about the Black Moon sect. The results came up. The Black Moon sect was once a moonlight force stationed in the northern region at the Black Moon Tower, a place of worship for gods of legend, known for its miraculous abilities. The sect once turned the moon dark for several days. 3 years ago, when the Double Moon sect emerged, there was direct conflict, and the Black Moon sect was defeated during a full moon night. Tu Luong stood up with a smile. "I remember now. It turns out this isn't an issue for me. It's just that the sect was so weak that even the original owner didn't bother paying attention." The 2-horned girl clarified, "Yes, Master, the Black Moon sect is not a significant threat. However, if the Moon God's palace also intervenes, the situation becomes more complicated." "The Moon God's palace?" Tu Luong echoed. "This is not the same as what I learned." The girl continued, "The Moon God's palace has ruled the world for thousands of years with legendary beasts and held dominance over the 6 central territories. However, this dominance has waned over time, especially as the Double Moon sect has shaken its power over the past 3 years." She added, "The 4 moon generals plan to act together. Even if the Moon God's palace engages in direct combat, we can retreat safely, but that would mean fewer guards at your side." She said, "Therefore, regarding this operation, my master has sent me to seek the leader's opinion." Tu Luong sat calmly in his chair and said, "It's fine, go ahead." Then, he turned around and struck a commanding pose. "As long as I am under the moonlight." The girl was stunned for a moment, then joyfully bowed and accepted the order. "To think I could hear it with my own ears in this lifetime. As long as the Moon King is watched over by the moon god Xian Deep, no one in this world can lay a finger on you. You are the most radiant moonlight." The girl leapt out of the window and disappeared. Once she was gone, Tu Luong clutched his head and internally screamed, "Ah, I can't handle these cheesy lines anymore. I nearly slapped myself just now." In truth, the original owner of his body often said inexplicable Silly things. Yet every time, the followers would misconstrue them as words of profound wisdom, even if they were completely meaningless. Moonlight is watching over me. I can feel the breath of the moon god. As long as I remain under the moonlight, the moon will rise, the moon will set, the moon will be full, the moon will shine bright. These were all classic lines quoted from the Moon King's sayings. In short, any phrase with the words, moon, or light, was instantly revered as truth by his followers. It was almost cult-like brainwashing. Then there was the moon god palace. I've only been transported here for a day. Why has everything become so complicated? Even though the moon god palace was no longer a significant threat to the Moon King. The immediate issue was to Luang's possession of the moon god Xian Deep asterisk. Earlier, he had feigned confidence, but now the guards were gone. If danger arose, even the world's strongest Moon King might fall. Wait, Luang almost forgot he still had his golden finger. The ability to collect stamps and draw lottery rewards. Today at the Moonlight Pavilion, I encountered so many beasts. Surely, I've earned enough for a draw. Luang summoned the moon record book. The images appeared and began to change. He was delighted. It was indeed time for a draw. The lottery system allowed for a chance to draw any moonlight quality beast. After signing a contract, the beast would be stored in the beast space. If unsatisfied, the contract could be annulled, and the user would be compensated with a fixed value. Reading the notes, Luang deduced that if he drew a beast he didn't like, he could still cancel the contract in exchange for experience points. These details can wait. Survival is most important right now. If this one fusion can summon the ultimate beast, there will be nothing left to fear. Luang performed a quick ritual for luck before drawing. Oh, great masters of the mystical arts. Please, this commoner has painstakingly saved up for this moment. Grant me the ultimate beast. I beg you. With determination, Luang pressed his finger gently on the book. The radiance shone brightly, blinding even the fiercest of beasts. A new beast had been unlocked, and the number of illuminated illustrations had increased. The beast summoned this time was Thou Sak Wei An asterisk. A high-tier moonlight beast. Its combat skill, moon forest camouflage. Luang's face became expressionless as he looked at the beast. A high-tier support beast or a rare dual combat beast? It seemed his luck wasn't bad. If he were just an ordinary beast tamer student, he'd be thrilled to obtain such a rare, high-tier beast. But for Song Wei Gao's leader, Moon King Luang, even a Thou Sak Wei An wouldn't change anything. The current crisis he faced couldn't be resolved by the power of high-tier beasts alone. With a wave of his hand, he dismissed the contract. The system's voice chimed in, after confirming the contract cancellation. Thou Sak Wei An has been returned, and its power value has been used as compensation. Luang looked at his updated information and cheerfully remarked, "Wow, this compensation is quite generous. Plus, I'm close to reaching the rank of a 2-star beast tamer." He put away the moonlight book and felt a little downcast. Thinking back, the original owner of this body had countless chances to form contracts with the supreme beasts within Song Wei Gao. But since he possessed the legendary moon god Xian Deep asterisk, he hadn't needed them. Why am I suddenly in this situation? Wait, Luang thought of something. Even if high-tier beasts couldn't solve fundamental issues, they were still more powerful compared to having no combat ability like Xian Quang Deep asterisk. At least they could handle emergencies. Luang raised his trembling hands and muttered, "Why did I send it back so quickly? Could my personality still be influenced by the original owner?" Shaking his head, he reassured himself, "No, there's still some difference. At least I don't believe that moon god Xian Deep is real." Reclining on his bed, he pondered, "Next time I receive a high-tier beast, I should form a contract first. Tomorrow, he would return to Wei Luang Quan to gain more experience points. There are still many beasts I haven't captured. And there's also that little white deer. Maybe if I bring it some tasty treats, there's a chance to trick it into joining me, he thought. Before drifting off to sleep. At dawn, the white deer awoke from a nightmare. It glanced around, alarmed. What happened to my big family? Why was it destroyed? A woman's voice echoed. Soon, the moon god palace emissaries will come to take you. The white deer turned and looked at her as she continued. Once you reach the moon god palace, you'll have a much better life there. She wiped away her tears and smiled. The Luna Palace envoys will arrive to take you soon. Don't be mischievous anymore. Listen to your new caretakers. The white deer was stunned. What does that mean? Have I been sold? The moon god palace? Outside, 2 moon god palace emissaries stood at the entrance. The students gathered around, whispering among themselves. Is that the superpower? The ruler of the 6 central territories? Why are they here? Could it be because of the Moon King? The red-haired envoy laughed and said, "Ha ha, I heard that Wei Fuang came here to train. I thought it was some kind of treasure. But it turns out it's just some kids. Ridiculous." The blue-haired envoy scolded her. "Stop causing trouble. We're only here for the white deer this time. Absolutely no incidents, especially related to Wei Fuang and the Song Moon sect." The red-haired girl huffed. "I get it. I don't want any trouble either. We just need to take the white deer and leave. Right?" The door opened, and a bespectacled woman stepped out, smiling. "Welcome, envoys from afar. I am Tan Ha, the supervisor of the Wei Luan Hall." The 2 envoys clasped their hands in greeting. The moon never sets because the night is eternal. The challenging attitude lingered. Tan Ha maintained her polite smile but added, "No need to exchange pleasantries. Let me take you to see the white deer." The blue-haired envoy interrupted. "There's no need. We've already seen its picture online. We're offering 10 times its normal price. Bring it out and hand it over without any further delay." Tan Ha was taken aback. 10 times the price? She knew that due to the highly selective nature of the white deer, they were on the brink of extinction. Although it was a mid-level beast, its value could rival that of high-level beasts. Moreover, this particular white deer, revered in the academy, was unmatched in appearance. If they were willing to pay such a high price, it meant they were determined to obtain it. Why not seize this opportunity? Tan Ha stayed silent for a moment. The blue-haired envoy asked, "Is there a problem?" Adjusting her glasses, Tan Ha responded, "You two may not know this, but this white deer is a direct descendant of the founding beast of our academy. That's why we have raised it with the utmost care, treating it as a supreme-level beast. In fact, even if you offered 10 times the price of a regular white deer, the resources we've invested in nurturing it over the years could not be recouped." The red-haired envoy couldn't hold back her laughter. "Ha ha ha, a descendant of a king beast? Isn't it just a mid-level beast? And you're treating it like a supreme-level one? In a poor place like yours, I doubt you've ever seen a real one." The blue-haired envoy barked, "Shut up," before adding, 20 times. Is that enough? Tan Ha's eyes lit up at the offer. The red-haired envoy was visibly anxious. "Sister, what are you saying? 20 times is an exorbitant price and far exceeds our budget." The blue-haired envoy stayed silent. Her urgency was due to her own beast. Wei Kai Tan. A rare high-level creature with the special ability to avoid disaster and sense danger. Ever since they had arrived, Wei Kai Tan had been in an unusually excited state, indicating that something ominous might be about to happen. No matter what, this isn't the territory of the Moon Temple. As long as I can quickly take the white deer and leave, even if it costs double, I must accept it. The blue-haired envoy suddenly felt a chill. She sensed an overwhelming pressure, enough to crush anyone. Horrified, she turned to see that someone had arrived, and that person was Moon Fang. Her entire body began to tremble. What do I do now? Why is Moon Fang here at a place like the Lunar Pavilion? Panic set in as she glanced at her sister. It's over. Her composure has been completely subdued by Moon Fang. She urgently transmitted telepathically, "Sister, can you hear my heartbeat? Quick, lower your head. Don't look at him." The blue-haired envoy kept trying to bring her sister back to her senses. The red-haired envoy fell backward. Her face flushed, and, with a trembling voice, asked, "Did you just meet Moon Fang's gaze?" Tu Luang approached and stared at the two, the pressure radiating from him causing them to sit down in shock. His indifferent demeanor was so domineering. It made everything in the world seem like mere dust. Neither of them could lift their heads, as if he held a divine presence within him. This was just what the girls imagined. In reality, Tu Luang was simply curious about the 2 envoys. These 2 are from the Moon Temple. What are they doing here? It's intriguing. However, considering his current position, directly opposed to the Moon Temple, he couldn't strike up a conversation with the envoys. Their expressions reflected 2 contrasting thoughts. The 2 envoys were terrified, thinking, "Why is Moon Fang staring at us? Is he in a bad mood and planning to kill us?" Tu Luang, meanwhile, was no better, internally panicking. "What do I do now? Someone help me. Can someone explain what's happening? This is too stressful." Tan Ha bounced over and called out, "Lord Moon Fang." She introduced herself. "I'm Tan Ha, the manager of the Lunar Pavilion. It's an honor to witness your presence firsthand." Pointing at a tattoo, she continued, "Actually, I only joined the Moon Sect 3 months ago." Tu Luong said nothing, realizing someone had just offered useful information. Tan Ha explained, "These two are envoys from the Moon Temple, here to purchase a mid-level beast, the white deer you saw yesterday. Because of its flawless appearance, even the Moon Temple couldn't resist buying it at an exorbitant price." Tu Luong froze in shock. That moon pursuer? So it's being treated so lavishly. Just because it carries the ancestral bloodline. Aside from me, no one knows the true identity of the moon pursuer. This isn't something that can be bought with money. I can't let the Lunar Pavilion sell a supreme level beast to the Moon Temple like this, he thought. Turning around, he prepared to go inside. The two envoys sighed in relief, finally seeing Moon Fang leave. "Is this really being let go?" someone asked. Tu Luong, without turning his head, said, "Return now. This is not a place where you should be. The moon is about to set." Tan Ha was puzzled. What does the moon god mean by this? It was broad daylight. How could the moon be setting? Then, the realization hit her. The two female emissaries turned pale with fear. Wait, what did he just say? The moon is about to set? If an ordinary person uttered this phrase, it would likely just be a tired sigh. But when it came from the moon god, known as the Moon King, the strongest being in the world, it held a dire significance. The green-haired emissary broke into a cold sweat. The meaning behind such words could signify an unprecedented disaster for the moon god's palace. The red-haired emissary stammered as she bowed. "The moon will not set." But she couldn't force out another word, her face growing increasingly panicked. A disgruntled student muttered, "How dare she respond to the Moon King?" Realizing her mistake, the red-haired emissary looked into Tu Luong's eyes and felt her strength leave her body. The green-haired emissary quickly supported her, calculating silently, "The issue with the white deer, this has gone far beyond what we can handle." She helped the red-haired emissary leave. "We must return to the moon god's palace immediately and report the Moon King's words to the 10 concubines. Disaster is looming." Tan Ha watched the two leave and smirked to herself. The moon will never set. Because night is eternal? Your faint moonlight was extinguished long ago. The true moon has fallen into an eternal sleep in the eyes of the Moon King. Once inside the building, Tu Luong exhaled in relief. That was too close. Thankfully, the little emissary stuttered, "Otherwise, I wouldn't have known how to respond." Even though he wasn't sure if he'd given himself away, he had said enough for the moon god's palace to shift its focus away from the white deer. Meanwhile, in the room where the white deer was kept, people were packing up belongings. The deer bleated wildly, tugging at a girl's skirt as if to prevent her from taking its things. The onlookers were puzzled. What's gotten into this little one today? It's usually so well behaved. The short-haired girl, moved, said, "Oh, sweetheart, you can't bear to part from me, can you?" She ran over and hugged the deer. "Don't worry, even when you're at the moon god's palace, I'll visit you often. Be good, and I'll clean up for you." As she lifted the mattress, she discovered a stash of hidden items. Shocked, she picked up a phone. "Wait, isn't this someone's lost phone?" The deer's eyes widened in horror. "No, they'll find my browsing history." Determined to protect its secret, the deer lunged at the woman, pushing her aside. The phone flew from her hands and landed into Luong's grasp. The white deer froze when it realized who had arrived. It was Moon King Tu Luong. The deer stared at the phone in his hand, and Tu Luong, barely holding back his shock, nearly cursed aloud. Why did he have to be the one to pick it up? Looking at the phone screen, he almost blurted out, "What in the world? This deer even reads romance novels." The white deer even reads romance novels. Should I say the line? Lady, you have successfully piqued my interest, The white deer now blushed furiously. Hiding behind the bed, Tu Luong waved his hand to everyone. "The transaction with the Moon God Palace today has been cancelled. Everyone should leave. Later, the Song Moon sect will send someone to discuss purchasing the Moonlight Pavilion." The crowd gasped in unison. "What, buying the Moonlight Pavilion?" Tu Luong chuckled to himself. The main reason he came here today was to negotiate the purchase. After all, with the Moonlight Pavilion as a front, he could use the name of collecting taxes to come into contact with a large number of moonlight beasts. However, upon arrival, he stumbled upon the embarrassing scene involving the ultimate beast. For safety's sake, he thought retreating was the best strategy. He slammed the door and disappeared. The people glanced at each other. The woman who had been tossed onto the bed by the white deer earlier sat up curiously. Did Moon King really declare the cancellation of the transaction? Did he meet with the Moon God Palace envoys? What exactly happened earlier? I really want to know. The room buzzed with chatter. I heard that the deal was unilaterally cancelled. Oh my, how bold, as expected of the Moon King. Wait, is this a declaration of war against the Moon God Palace? Surely, the Song Moon sect will protect us, right? The woman on the bed said. I'm more curious about that phone. What could have made the revered Moon King show that expression? What exactly did he see? Suddenly, the white deer dashed past, biting onto the phone and running off. The woman called out after it. Hey, don't run around. What's wrong with this little one today? Is it going through a rebellious phase? The white deer quickly chased after to Luong. Moon King. It seemed, he not only figured out my identity but also saw the history recorded on the phone. I can't let him leave the Moonlight Pavilion. The white deer's face was now bright red. If not, I might have to live on another planet. The deer shouted from behind. Stop, and then circled around to block Moon King's path. You saw everything, didn't you? To Luong was stunned. That voice, so it's a girl? No wonder she reads romance novels. The white deer threatened. If you dare reveal this secret, I absolutely won't let you off. Then, with a hint of nervousness, she glanced at To Luong to see if her intimidation had worked. To Luong chuckled. Sometimes, losing face is just a way of saying goodbye to the past. The deer felt an internal blow. Lady, you have successfully piqued my interest, he said. The deer spat blood, face turning even redder, and yelled, Ah, shut up, don't say another word, she stammered, threatening. You, don't think that just because you're the Moon King. I'll be scared. If I ever hear that you reveal my identity or that line to anyone, I'll immediately rush out of the Moonlight Pavilion and make sure your blood is splattered everywhere. Then it ran up to your doorstep and died at your feet. To Luong suddenly realized, that's right, if you call the true name of a beast within a certain range, it will sense it immediately. This must be the unique sixth sense of supreme beasts. He said, if that's the case, it means that as long as I call you nearby, you'll come to me instantly. Right? The deer instantly confirmed. Of course. Then it jolted. Wait, what? What did he just say? And what did I just say? To Luong smiled as he moved closer. Let's make a deal. If I call you and you don't show up, I'll tell everyone your secret. The deer blushed, stammering. What? That. To Luong waved. Remember that. I'm leaving. The deer hurriedly called after him. Remember to be careful during the full moon. To Luong uttered an, oh, and walked away. The deer stood there, lost in thought, replaying the words in its head. As long as I call you nearby, you'll come to me instantly. It began to feel flustered. Just now, wasn't that sentence very much like a form of confession? The kind you'd find in those overbearing CEO novels? Outside, To Luong leaned against the door, clutching his chest. No way, did I really just successfully threaten a supreme beast? Originally, seeing her expression made him happy, and he wanted to tease her a bit. But somehow, he ended up saying all that. Anyway, To Luong thought, asterisk in this world, when a beast tamer makes a pact with a beast, they share life and death. So calling it a proposal or confession isn't entirely wrong. If she really cares about losing face, I might not make it out alive. Does that mean she truly cares about that? To Luong looked up at the sky, pondering, what did she mean by, be careful during the full moon? And why does being the Moon King make me feel so uneasy? Could it be that something terrible happens during a full moon? 3 days later, To Luong summoned the Moonlight Book. I don't have any guards with me now. If there's any danger, I should secure my formation just to be safe. He flipped through the pages. At the Moon God Palace, 10 women sat in the Grand Hall. These were the 10 prominent beast tamers of the palace. Though their names were unknown, rumor had it that they were all exceptionally beautiful. Nearby, the 2 messengers from before were kneeling, reporting the situation. One of the queens spoke. The moon is setting. Did Moon King really say that? The green-haired messenger confirmed. Every word is true. There isn't a hint of falsehood. The 4th queen spoke. The Moon King's words remind me, with the changing seasons, the timing of the full moon shifts as well. Don't forget to adjust the lunar gauges. The other queens, hearing this, started cursing unreservedly. The 4th queen, displeased, said, "What are you doing? Am I not correct?" One of the other queens speculated. A character like Moon King would never interact with low-level beasts, and his appearance at Moonlight Pavilion is illogical. Therefore, I believe that within the Moonlight Pavilion, there must be something capable of attracting the Moon King. It's very likely that this is an emperor beast. One person said, "You speak of an emperor beast. But if the Moon King can command such an entity." Another replied, "That's correct. It means that the deity residing within the Moon King's body might soon awaken. If it does, the Moon Palace may no longer be able to resist." Sometime later, the fourth consort sat alone in the Great Hall, in front of a screen with sound emitting from it. "Fourth consort, will you finally agree to support us or not?" a voice asked. The fourth consort responded, "If Moon King has indeed formed a pact with the Emperor Beast, do you still believe you have any chance of victory?" A voice from the Black Moon cult came through the screen. Startled, "What, did you say an Emperor Beast?" There was silence for a moment. The fourth consort assumed the person on the screen was scared. But then another voice spoke up. "Let me speak with her. Please rest assured, fourth consort, the Moon King is not the only one watched over by the moonlight." Recently, after Moon King secured the Moonlight Pavilion, he had sent members of the Twin Moon sect to search for moonlight beasts everywhere and transport them to the Beast Academy. This move plunged the entire Northern Territory into chaos, instilling fear and constant vigilance among all factions, with sleepless nights becoming the norm. Some believed that the way the Moon King grew stronger was by consuming smaller creatures alive to replenish his energy. There were even rumors suggesting that this was a sign that the deity within Moon King's body was about to awaken. Due to these various speculations, the situation in the Northern Territory had become chaotic, with everyone facing danger. However, Moon King's incarnation, Tu Luong, found himself at the eye of this storm, currently engaged in drawing lots. A new beast had been unlocked. The number of illustrated figures that were illuminated had increased. Tu Luong scratched his head. Previously, he had drawn a high-level beast. But now, after 5 consecutive attempts, there was only one high-level beast among them. Despite the assistance of the Twin Moon sect, managing to save enough for 5 consecutive draws had been a tough challenge. Unable to make pacts with low and mid-tier beasts, which were only useful for gathering and converting to power points, left them without further utility. As for this high-level beast, though he had promised to form a pact when a high-level one appeared, this, Moon Lake Fox, seemed more like a support type. He doubted it would offer much more than that. From the original host's memories, there appeared to be no record of this name. Could it be an uncommon toy-like beast? Tu Luong pulled out his phone to search for information but found nothing about the Moon Lake Fox online. He was stunned. How is that possible? Could there still be beasts that even the encyclopedias can't find? Wait, if it had been unlocked, he could directly check within the Moonlight Book, couldn't he? With that realization, Tu Luong opened the Moonlight Book to investigate further. Inside the book, there was an entry for Lake Moon, a high-level moonlight beast that was a mutation. Once appearing on Earth 13,000 years ago, it was automatically detected and included in the Moon record book. Then went extinct. Due to the lack of reproductive ability and ancestral bloodline, its combat skills were not well known. But its innate trait was the ability to absorb all vibrations and fluctuations from its surroundings. When its endurance reached the limit, it would explode and die. Note: when a beast is contracted by a beast tamer, it can revive after a certain period following its death. This was one of the crucial reasons that allowed humanity, once weak, to coexist with beasts. Tu Luong held the book with trembling hands. 13,000 years? Isn't that even earlier than the history of the Moon Temple? No wonder. There's no information online about Lake Moon. It turns out, it's not a creature of this era. Not of this era. Tu Luong stood up abruptly. I've avoided contracting high-level beasts, mainly to avoid being recognized, since it doesn't fit the persona of the world's strongest beast tamer. But if it's a high-level beast that no one knows about, then what? Now, the existence of Lake Moon has been lost. No one can uncover its true identity. Moreover, its ability is perfect for countering unexpected threats. Its form is also hard to detect. Although it lacks combat power, it is perfectly suited to my current situation. Tu Luong summoned the card of Lake Moon, extended his hand, and successfully formed a contract. At that moment, in the space where beasts resided within his consciousness. The butterfly that had been quietly hovering was startled by a loud thud as something dropped. The asterisk silkworm of light asterisk shuddered. Tu Luong opened his eyes, sensing asterisk Lake Moon's asterisk presence. The feeling of depth and mystery was entirely different from other high-level beasts. Now, it was his second beast, and he hoped it would lend him its strength. The full moon night was fast approaching. Meanwhile, a young man stood with his hands clasped behind his back on the rooftop of a building. Damn it, assigned randomly to guard this area again. Not long ago, he had received orders from his superior. Based on intelligence from the Moon Temple, the Emperor was expected to appear on this full moon night. Moon Fang would definitely take action. The young man was stunned. What, did you say the Emperor? The superior continued. You are one of the strongest in the asterisk Black Moon sect. We, and you, have done well. As an infiltrator in the academy, be cautious this time. Terrified, he accepted the mission and left. This is the area closest to the Moon King. If he detects any hint of hostility, just facing him for a moment would spell certain death for me. The asterisk silkworm of light asterisk circled back. As to Luong tried to summon it, but it wouldn't respond. It kept flying around the room. That's strange. Why hasn't this happened in recent full moons? Lake Moon asterisk was sleeping and didn't appear to be acting out of the ordinary. This suggested a strong possibility that an incredibly powerful beast had appeared within the academy, causing lower-level beasts to panic. All right, stop making noise. Let me take you outside to see for a bit, Tu Luong said. The butterfly perched on his shoulder at his words. Although it was curfew during the full moon at the academy, that didn't matter to him. If there was an unusual event happening within the academy, it likely had something to do with him. If there was danger, being in an open space was better than being confined to a dorm room. And it would also avoid involving other students. The corridor outside was in chaos, with beasts running wild everywhere. Tu Luong looked around, confused by what was happening. Could it be that the Moon Pursuer's prediction was correct? Is there a strange beast targeting me? A piercing noise came from outside, causing students to clutch their heads and flee. Tu Luong walked to the window and looked out, seeing a massive explosion across the grounds. He felt a bit relieved. It seems like this isn't aimed at me. The spy from before sat on the ground, panicked. Are you kidding me? It looks like a low-level moonlight rabbit, but the sheer size and the oppressive aura. What in the world are you? The once cute rabbit, now the size of a house, let out a roar and flung its ears at the spy. The massive commotion terrified the students, sending the low-level beasts running in all directions in fear. What on earth is happening outside? The terrifying sounds echoed throughout the academy. The creatures without any sense of direction scattered chaotically. At the door of the white deer's room, it emitted an aura that calmed the surrounding beasts. The white deer, annoyed, muttered, "What's all this noise in the middle of the night? So annoying. Go back to sleep, all of you." The beasts, hearing this, obediently crouched down. A staff member who had rushed over was surprised to see the chaos subside. They stopped running around? She wondered. All right, little ones, let's all go back to your nests. She glanced at the room and frowned. Isn't this the white deer's room? Why did the wild beast settle down here? The white deer was still flustered by De Luong's previous words. What did he mean by that? She recalled his statement. Asterisk, we have a date. If I call you and you don't show up, I'll reveal your secret to everyone. The deer shook her head. Wait, he's the Moon King. On par with Emperor Thuong Wei. Why would he need to call on me? But then, she thought, maybe it's true that his power hasn't yet reached its peak, and he truly needs my strength to overcome threats. Thinking this, the white deer buried her face in her bed. Embarrassed, he wouldn't really call for me tonight. Would he? Outside, the massive rabbit paused its attack. Hearing the white deer's distant growl, the spy, drenched in sweat, let out a nervous laugh. The power, it's beyond my imagination. He stood on the back of a floating fish, stunned by the scene. The intrusions inside the academy like this, it seems it's not the Song Moon sect. Regardless, if Moon King discovers this, we'll have no escape route. He sighed in relief, realizing it was just a crazed moonlit beast, a false alarm. He turned to the rabbit and said, I'm telling you, do you not know this is the Moon King's territory? If we alert him, we will die without a burial place. Even if you're brave, I advise you to withdraw quickly. The rabbit roared, swinging its ear fiercely at the spy. The impact was incredibly powerful. But the two Ling Yu beasts intercepted the blow, protecting him from harm. Although the power of this creature was terrifying, it seemed extremely slow, lacking the intelligence of a high-level beast and certainly not an ultimate-level beast. Otherwise, the Ling Yu wouldn't have been able to block the attack. Interesting. If we haven't alarmed Moon Cane, let's see what you really are, he said as he leapt off the Ling Yu beasts and shouted. Ling Yu, restrictions lifted, I permit you to absorb the moonlight. The two Ling Yu beasts, following orders, frantically absorbed the moonlight, merging into a ferocious fish-like creature. The spy, hanging upside down, shouted in panic, Ling Yu, stop absorbing, this creature is almost at its limit. Apart from Emperor Shang Yu and the Moon God Palace, no one can absorb moonlight indefinitely. Otherwise, they'll explode and die. As for the Moon Cane, he was beyond normal boundaries. But with his capabilities, it was enough to handle. The spy approached the rabbit, laughing. Since I became an instructor, I've never unleashed my full power. He reached out towards the rabbit. Today will be an exception. You are not the only beast to go mad on a full moon night. The Ling Yu lunged forward, and the two beasts clashed fiercely. The teachers had begun evacuating the students. The blonde-haired teacher said, is this an enemy force attacking the academy? The pink-haired teacher doubted it. How could that be? Moon King is here. It's probably just a beast that absorbed too much moonlight and lost control. The blonde-haired teacher nodded. Maybe so. Anyway, beasts under a full moon are extremely dangerous, some even attack teachers. A figure ran by, and the pink-haired teacher shouted, wait, student, don't run around. But then she gasped, realizing it was Moon King. He pointed to the sky and said, the moonlight is about to rise. Before continuing on, although there were now beasts that could handle the danger, Hu Zhongyu was present. But somehow, a feeling of insecurity lingered, especially on this full moon night. If expressed in the original master's words, perhaps it was, the moonlight is watching over me. At the scene where the two beasts were fighting, the spy, seeing that his Ling Yu had the upper hand, said, the last attack of Ling Yu was brutal. Now it's time to. Before he could finish, the Ling Yu let out a miserable scream. The spy looked over in horror at the rabbit. Relying on the power of Lin Du Wei to secure a position in Hack Wei sect. How could it be? Even a beast going berserk under the moonlight is no match. What kind of damned monster are you? Two figures were hiding nearby. Observing, Bok Wei Nhi sighed and said, this is truly terrifying. Battling with a student not on the same level. Tu Gun, on the other side, shrugged helplessly. Isn't this pointless? You know it's scary, but you still came here to watch the commotion. Wei Nhi giggled and said, the dorm roof was blown away. Of course, I wanted to witness this kind of high-level event firsthand. Tu Gun, hearing that, smacked his forehead. Seeing firsthand, you say. Wei Nhi, holding her head with one hand, muttered while looking at the rabbit. But why does this beast look somewhat familiar? Tu Gun rubbed his chin. It looks like a high-level cotton rabbit. But its body shape is really unusual. The wailing sound of Lin Du Wei echoed, drawing the attention of the two. It was being squeezed tightly by the rabbit's ears, and then slammed hard onto the ground. The spy in his mind shouted, could it be that the regeneration speed isn't enough to compensate for the injuries now? He stretched his hand towards Lin Du Wei. A simple beast can suppress my Lin Du Wei? I won't hold back anymore. Lin Du Wei used its skill, Moon Devour. Lin Du Wei emitted a sonic wave attack. Moon Devour, once it hits the target, will tear it apart with colossal invisible force, emitted by Lin Du Wei until death. The rabbit, impacted by the skill, twisted its body. The spy laughed arrogantly. No one has ever decoded this invisible attack. Moon Devour is invincible. Ha ha ha. The rabbit, enraged, began absorbing the surrounding energy into its body. The spy watched in horror. What is this? A combat skill? Even a simple beast can have combat skills? This is infuriating. The rabbit's belly now swelled up. Wei Nhi looked astonished. Tu Gun, realizing the danger, quickly shielded Wei Nhi, summoning Wei Non Ho, which wrapped its four tails around the two. The rabbit, now fully charged, shouted, releasing a destructive burst of energy, emanating from it as the center. Like an atomic bomb. Moments later, Lin Du Wei was reduced to a rag, and the surroundings were leveled. Houses turned to dust. The rabbit noticed the two. Gun turned and looked. He was surprised to see that Wei Nhi also had a moon beast to summon. Otherwise, they might have perished by now. The rabbit approached. Wei Nhi hurriedly hugged the fox and said, Okay, don't attract it here. As the rabbit got closer, the two and the beast hugged each other. Trembling, Gun, perceptive, noticed. There was always a feeling that the rabbit kept staring at Bok Wei Nhi. The rabbit used its paw to push aside debris and lifted the spy. Gun saw him and said urgently, That's the guide from earlier. He's still alive? The spy, now hanging upside down, said, I relied on the power of Lin Du Wei. It's not a high-level beast at all. But do you think you can escape unscathed? The Moon King is about to arrive. The giant rabbit angrily flung the spy down, ready to crush him with its foot. Wei Nhi, panicking, asked, What should we do? Should I have Tiu Bok stall for a bit? Wei stopped her. Don't joke around. You know Tiu Bok can't stop that monster. Tiu Bok may be a high-level beast, but if it dies in battle, its loyalty will drop when it's revived. But can we just stand here helpless and watch him die? Even if loyalty decreases, it's better than seeing him perish without helping. Gun, at a loss for words, sighed and said, Fine, let's try it. Wei Nhi, trembling, stepped forward, only to be stopped by an outstretched hand. Is it really you, Moon King Luong? She whispered. Luong put on a serious face and said, Step back, this is not a fight you can participate in. The moonlight was beginning to converge as he approached. The giant rabbit stood between Luong and Wei Nhi, who were in awe. This radiance, is he even human anymore? Staring at the massive rabbit, Luong thought, a creature of this size and shape, and with no record of any supreme-level beast emerging recently. There's only one possibility. 10 minutes earlier, Pham was hiding behind a rock. Observing the scene, his thoughts raced. I came here full of confidence. But now it seems impossible to beat this thing. Even the high-level beasts of the 4-star instructors were killed instantly. Ho Trung Wei and Xiam Quang Deep of Mine wouldn't even scratch it. To use the moon records to identify its level, I'd need direct contact, but that's not feasible now. What do I do? Should I give up? At that moment, Luong noticed the creature's behavior. Why isn't it attacking those two? Loss of control and remaining rationality coexisting? Such a contradiction can't happen with high-level beasts. There's only one last possibility. The spy, with swollen eyes, stared at Luong. Moon King, so close to me. Am I about to witness the true beast of the Moon King? News about the Moon King's beast would be earth-shattering, he thought. Just as he realized this, a white tiger lifted him onto its back. Gun and another figure hurried to take him away. The spy yelled in panic. What are you doing? Don't take me. Don't save me. The white tiger sped off like the wind. Luong stood in front of the rabbit and said, A beast gone mad under the full moon can't remain calm. You haven't lost your mind, you're acting purely on instinct. Only low-level beasts act on instinct alone. So, there's no longer any need to guess the truth. He smiled, raised his hand, and said, You've been searching for me, haven't you? A character like Moon King would never interact with low-level beasts, and his appearance at Moonlight Pavilion doesn't make sense. Therefore, I believe there must be something within Moonlight Pavilion that could attract the Moon King. Most likely, it's the Emperor Beast. One of them said, You mean the Emperor Beast? But if the Moon King can command an Emperor Beast, another replied, Exactly, it would mean that the deity within the Moon King's body could soon awaken. If that happens, then the Moon Palace might not be able to resist anymore. Sometime later, the fourth consort sat alone in the Grand Hall, in front of a screen emitting sound. Fourth consort, will you finally agree to help us? A voice asked. The fourth consort responded, If Moon King has already formed a pact with the Emperor Beast, do you still think you have any chance of winning? There was a startled voice from the Black Moon cult through the screen. What, did you say the Emperor Beast? There was silence for a moment. The fourth consort thought the person on the screen was frightened. But then another voice spoke up. Let me speak with her. Please rest assured, fourth consort, Moon King is not the only one watched over by the moonlight. Recently, after Moon King gained control of Moonlight Pavilion, he had sent Twin Moon sect members to search for moonlight beasts everywhere and transport them to the Beast Academy. This move threw the entire Northern Territory into chaos, spreading fear and vigilance among all factions, keeping everyone awake at night. Some believed that Moon King grew stronger by devouring smaller creatures alive to replenish energy. There were even rumors suggesting that this was a sign that the deity within Moon King's body was on the verge of awakening. Due to various speculations, the recent situation in the Northern Territory became chaotic, with everyone facing danger. However, Moon King's incarnation, Tu Luong, at the center of this storm, was currently drawing lots. A new beast had been unlocked, increasing the number of illustrated figures that were illuminated. Tu Luong scratched his head. Previously, he had drawn a high-level beast. But now, after 5 consecutive attempts, there was only one high-level beast among them. Even with the assistance of the Twin Moon sect, saving up for 5 consecutive draws had been challenging. He couldn't form pacts with low and mid-level beasts, as they were only useful for gathering and converting into power points and had no other utility. As for this high-level beast, although he had promised to form a pact when drawing a high-level one, this, Moon Lake Fox, seemed more of a support type. And he doubted its usefulness. In the original host's memories, there seemed to be no mention of this name. Could it be an uncommon, toy-like beast? Tu Luong pulled out his phone to search for information but found nothing about the Moon Lake Fox online. He was stunned. How is that possible? Are there still beasts that the encyclopedia can't find? Wait, if it had been unlocked, he could check directly within the Moonlight Book, couldn't he? With that realization, Tu Luong opened the Moonlight Book to investigate further. Hawk Kin turned his head and continued to listen to the voice. Hawk Kin, if you can hear this, respond. Hawk Kin recalled the scene of the rampaging rabbit, the moon spirit beast of the Moon Temple, with the full moon reflected in its eyes. The Emperor, Hawk Kin, shuddered all over. As he remembered, clutching his head, he screamed, "The Emperor! It's truly the Emperor! I saw it! Moon Fang is terrifying," the voice continued. "Let's stop for today. Any further, and it will become too much for you. Hawk Kin, just last night, the Tranquil Star Phantom Moon appeared in the Northern Territory. The deputy leader of the third branch of the Black Moon sect has also arrived in the Northern Territory. This time, you will continue to act as an insider. Observe all of Moon Fang's movements. If there are any unusual actions, report immediately." Hawk Kin, feeling like he was losing his balance, awoke with a jolt. He was in the academy's infirmary. Was I having a nightmare? Wait, no, that wasn't just a nightmare. That was the beast of a supreme leader. The pact between the moon and dreams. It was an instruction from above. The Tranquil Star Phantom Moon has appeared in the Northern Territory. And a deputy leader is there. But who will face the Emperor of the Moon King? A sudden realization struck him with panic. No, could it be those people? At the dormitory, Tu Luong woke up groggily. A rabbit suddenly appeared in front of him. Startled, he jumped up, staring at the rabbit until he remembered. Last night, I made a contract with this little guy. The previous night, Tu Luong had gone to the fountain and said, "Let's meet where we first met." It must have understood. "Ah, so you're here, after all." Pretending to be a formidable boss. In front of everyone, if it found out the Moon King was weak and got angry, it'd be over. To be safe, it's better to make the contract somewhere. Without anyone around, Tu Luong raised his hand and said, "All right, Moonlight Rabbit, form a contract with me." Looking at the 3 beasts he'd already contracted, Tu Luong sighed. This really isn't like Moonfang at all. Although it appears to be a low-level Moonlight Rabbit, on a full moon night, it could crush high-level beasts, though its upper limit is unknown. Could it reach an even higher level? Watching the rabbit play at his feet, Tu Luong felt disheartened. It's time to visit the Lunar Pavilion, to find Moon Pursuer, and confirm some things about the Moonlight Rabbit. He opened the door, and looked at the scene outside, which seemed different from the day before. He overheard the conversation of some female students. There's actually a supreme-level wild moonlight beast that has appeared in the Northern Territory, and it's not far from the academy. Are you thinking of going there to make a contract? It might be worth trying. What if it works? Tu Luong was shocked. A supreme-level one? Which beast? A wild supreme-level beast wouldn't casually appear. Panicked, Tu Luong searched for information online. Supreme beasts. The Tranquil Star Phantom Moon had arrived in the Northern Territory. Early this morning, hundreds of miles around it had been sealed off by moonlight forces. The crowd of onlookers had already surpassed hundreds of thousands. Tran Tin Yen Wei asterisk, currently the most powerful wild weapon in the Moonlight system, had entered deep slumber after failing to find a compatible beast tamer. Even Emperor Thuong Wei and the 10 pillars of the Moon God's palace had failed to awaken it. Yet yesterday, Tran Tin Yen Wei arrived in the Northern Territories. And as soon as it was awakened, it drew the attention of every major power, who assumed its existence was linked to Moon King Tu Luong. Tu Luong pocketed his phone and pondered. So that's how it is. Nearly every faction believes Tran Tin Yen Wei came for me. 2 masked girls were following him from behind. When they noticed he wasn't heading in that direction, they were taken aback. Moon King isn't paying attention to Tran Tin Yen Wei? Tu Luong thought to himself. I would love to go. But capturing Tran Tin Yen Wei under the watchful eyes of hundreds of thousands? If I lack the power to control it, wouldn't I die on the spot? It was safer not to take unnecessary risks. Besides, there was a more beautiful and charming creature nearby. At the Moonlight Pavilion, the white deer lay with its chin resting on its hooves. Deep in thought, when Tu Luong entered, he waved and said, "It's been a while." The deer blinked and asked, "Why are you here?" "Tran Tin Yen Wei has appeared. Aren't you going to see it?" Tu Luong chuckled. "Of course. Someone as addicted to the web as you would know that." The white deer turned its head and scoffed. "I felt it long before the web came to be. If you don't go, someone else might capture it. Don't you feel regret?" Sitting on the edge of the bed, Tu Luong wagged his finger. "They just don't understand. Only someone with my foresight sees the truth. There's no such thing as a cute monster." He reached into his coat and pulled out a treat. "Here, a thank you gift for you. After all, thanks to your hint, I managed to tame the moonlight rabbit. But keep this between us." The deer looked puzzled and asked, "A thank you gift? What for?" It eyed the treat, adding, "Is this custom-made food for supreme-level beasts? Isn't that very expensive?" The deer momentarily forgot that it had been raised as a mid-level beast. Tu Luong laughed. "It's nothing special. If you like it, I can bring more tomorrow. After all, I have thousands in my beast space. All offerings from the Double Moon sect." The deer took the treat, examined it, and put it in its food box. Tu Luong, curious, asked, "Why, aren't you going to eat it?" The deer shut the lid and said, "It's not a snack. Of course, I'll save it for when I watch movies and read novels." Tu Luong stood up, saying, "All right, I'll be off. If I stay too long, it'll be easy for others to figure out your identity." He paused and added, "Wait, there's an easier way to contact you." Pulling out his phone, he said, "Let's add each other as friends." The deer, surprised, responded with a simple, "Huh?" Before agreeing, Tu Luong glanced at the deer's profile picture, a beautiful girl, and was immediately captivated. The pact between the clouds and the moon. The founder of the Moonlight Beast Academy from centuries past. The legendary beast-stealing emperor. Was this creature her ancestor? Could it be that when the moon-chasing cloud deer transforms, it could also take on such a form? Seeing Tu Luong looking at her, the white deer curiously asked, "What's wrong?" Tu Luong snapped back to reality, realizing he was lost in thought. He waved his hand, "Nothing, see you tomorrow," and walked away. The white deer started pondering, clearly confused by the situation. The moonlit abyssal beast had already emerged, yet he seemed uninterested and even came here to find her. It slapped its leg with a realization. "Ah, I understand now. This move is called playing hard to get. He must be trying to trick me into joining the Twin Moon sect. That cunning Moon King. I've figured out his plot." Maintaining its stance for a moment, the deer then flopped onto the bed, lost in thought. Did he really say he'd come back tomorrow? 3 days passed, and Moon King still showed no concern for the moonlit abyssal beast. The Twin Moon sect remained quiet, leading to increasing chaos in the Northern Territory. In a wilderness area, 2 groups of people lined up. A woman slammed her hand on a table and shouted, "Stop crowding. You think you can just go and subdue the moonlit abyssal beast? This is just for you to see with your own eyes." She held up a piece of paper and continued, "Those who register will have basic safety guaranteed. Those who don't will face the consequences alone." This woman was the vice principal of the academy, named Shang Ruyue. Feeling exasperated, Ruyue sat back, thinking, "Why do I have to stay here and be responsible for the safety of these low-level students?" She glanced over at He Jin approaching. "Instructor He Jin, why aren't you taking care of your injuries? What are you doing here?" He Jin laughed. "I'm here to help. I've already had my beast revived by the medical doctor. It's fine now." "Is that so?" Ruyue stood up. "If you say so, I'll leave this to you." Internally, she smirked. Just another one with empty dreams. A group of female students showed concern for He-jin's health, to which he replied he was fine and began the task. The Great One is here now. Although I've never met them, they will surely inform me somehow. He-jin called out. Next, student number, rank, fill it out here. A woman at the front revealed a tattoo on her hand. He-jin quickly passed her through and called for the next in line. Sweat trickling down his face. So it really is her. At the site where the beast emerged, a purple-skinned girl sighed. What an awe-inspiring aura. Meeting it today truly lives up to its reputation. She was a member of the prestigious Shui Shi sect in the Central Nine Infernos region. The man with a hairy face behind her said, Do you understand now? Any non-moonlight creature entering the barrier will face resistance. Sending in a beastmaster without proper lineage is as good as a death sentence. This man was from the Moonlight Beastmaster Academy in the Northern Territory. A girl with gray hair, belonging to the Ling Yu sect, scoffed. A thief without moonlight lineage trying to subdue the moonlit abyssal beast? Ridiculous. The red-haired girl from Yu Yuan sneered. That's just daydreaming. The purple-skinned girl stared and then laughed. Alright, I get it. I'll order all my disciples to return. But I want to stay here and watch. To see which fools overestimate themselves and court death. Hearing her taunts, the two girls felt indignant. This woman truly was insufferable. Afraid for her own life yet eager to watch others make a fool of themselves. If not for the formidable power of the Hoang Tuyen sect, and not wanting to create conflict, they wouldn't let her meddle like this. The bearded man took the opportunity to pat the two girls on the shoulder, advising, let it go, right now, the situation is urgent. It's time we choose who goes in first. To prevent rejection, all summoned beasts must belong to moonlight-type beast tamers. Secondly, the intrusion of supreme-level beasts will immediately provoke resistance from Tram Tin Yen Wei. Fighting against its kin, only beasts below supreme level can step in. The red-haired girl speculated. Is that why Wei Fuang hasn't shown up? The bearded man nodded in agreement. Perhaps so. We're here, the deputy principal announced, leading the students forward. The three observers exchanged worried glances, fearing that the students would suffer heavy casualties. The deputy principal glanced at the purple-skinned girl, who looked displeased. Turning to the students, she said, All right, students, we are about to step into the domain of Tram Tin Yen Wei. Next, I will explain the rules to you. 1. When Tram Tin Yen Wei is asleep, it is absolutely indestructible. 2. When it awakens, it will unleash a random slash, instantly disintegrating all matter within its environment. Meanwhile, Tu Luong was lying down, reading messages from the white deer. Tram Tin Yen Wei, though possessing awareness and life, was completely non-communicative. Back then, even Emperor Thuong Wei and the Moon God Palace had to retreat hopelessly. No matter who came, it was useless. Tu Luong sighed. So, aside from sleeping, it just attacks people. Are all supreme-level beasts this arrogant? He asked. Is there no period when it's calm? Exactly, but perhaps it's not by choice. This time, it came to the Northern Territory because it sensed an opportunity to evolve. Are you really not going? Tu Luong turned off the phone, his thoughts swirling. Silly little thing. Capturing Tram Tin Yen Wei. What does that have to do with me? He imagined. If he were to subdue Tram Tin Yen Wei and fail, the internet would be flooded with news. The famed Wei Fuang met a tragic end, under the attack of a supreme-level beast. Wei Fuang sought his own death. The moon god Xian Deep was a scam. Song Wei sect becomes a laughingstock. Just thinking about it made him feel like spitting blood. Such hilarity could go down in history. Tu Luong sat up abruptly. Suddenly, he thought of a possibility. Back at the site where Tram Tin Yen Wei had appeared, the group of students made their way along the mountain pass. The snake woman infiltrated among them, scanning the surroundings. She was slightly surprised that Wei Fuang hadn't arrived. If it were him, he surely would have a way to subdue Tram Tin Yen Wei. She calculated that after obtaining the Tram Tin Yen Wei asterisk, she would immediately kill everyone present to ensure no information would be leaked. Her phone rang. Annoyed, she thought, why now? But then she was startled. The Moon King had activated the tracker and was heading towards the Moonmark Mountains. She began to panic. Why does it have to be now? She thought. The vice principal approached and shouted. What time do you think it is? Still playing with your phone and being absent-minded? Do you want to die here? She quickly bowed in apology. If you can't stay focused, then just go back, the vice principal said before moving on. The snake woman clenched her jaw in frustration. A blonde girl dares to lecture me? Once I've secured the tram tin yen wei asterisk, I'll make sure she suffers so much she'll wish she were dead. At the site, the vice principal addressed Team 5. During this operation, each of you will be given a secret teleportation stone. Once crushed, you can instantly teleport out. If you notice tram tin yen wei opening its eyes, crush the stone immediately, or you will certainly die inside. In a corner, a girl sneered. You all can't seriously think that a 1 or 2 star beast tamer can capture tram tin yen wei Can you? Even the 8-star beast tamer, Emperor Thuong Wei, couldn't manage it. She glanced around. Even 3-star tamers were rare. It seems the arrival of the Moon King hasn't made this any easier. How boring, she muttered. Suddenly, she noticed someone in black clothing among the crowd, emanating a terrifying aura. The snake woman sensed it, turned back to look, saw nothing, and continued. What was that? The purple-skinned girl whispered as she hid behind a boulder. What star-level beast tamer is he? And how can there be such a hidden monster in the Moonlight Academy? The snake woman was now near the luminous barrier. She was anxious. The Moon King will reach Moonmark Mountain soon. Before that, I must figure out the new mechanism of tram tin yen wei Silent heavenly balance. Block the entrance. When the Moon King steps in, seal his emperor beast. The purple-skinned girl arrived. The vice principal, Thuong New Wei asked, why are there only a few 1 or 2 star beast tamers here? And why hasn't the Moon King shown up? Does he already know tram tin yen wei can't be subdued? Even if he did, sending people was still necessary. The true purpose wasn't just to let the students witness the majesty of a supreme beast. New Wei veins on her forehead bulging, smirked. Do you lack the right attribute but still rush here to laugh at us? Or do you truly believe you can capture a supreme being in the midst of other factions? The two glared at each other for a moment. What's going on, she thought, still unaware of the snake-eyed woman's schemes. Before she could speak, the entire group felt a powerful pressure. The Moon King, Tu Luong, had arrived. Everyone was confused. Why is he here? Nhu Wei rushed over to ask. Moon Fang leader, are you here to subdue the tranquil star phantom moon? 2 concerned girls chimed in. But what if the Moon King's emperor provokes the tranquil star phantom moon? Nhu Wei laughed softly. Fools! If the Moon King himself has come, it means he is confident. Even if the emperor does not act, it's enough to make the tranquil star phantom moon submit. In reality, it's simple, Tu Luong thought. If I can touch the body of the tranquil star phantom moon, I can unlock the illustration in the moon record book. Then I would understand its mechanisms and the reason for its awakening. Perhaps I could even subdue it without needing to show myself, and simply have it obey my commands. Tu Luong said this and stepped into the glowing barrier. As he placed his foot into the light, the moon record book notified him. Silent celestial balance, supreme level, pure attribute, combat-oriented skill, a supreme beast with pure attributes. Exceedingly rare in the world. It lacks offensive capabilities, and possesses numerous restricted combat skills. It must rely on stronger beings for survival. Only supreme beasts can initiate attacks independently. When a beast tamer enters the silent celestial balance zone, they cannot summon an emperor beast. It can completely hide its presence from beings stronger than itself. Even those that seize emperors cannot find it. A supreme level beast? The crowd watched Tu Luong as he hesitated, his foot raised but then withdrawn, leaving them puzzled. Why did Moon Fang leader stop? What's going on? They saw Tu Luong pull out his phone and search. He was looking up. Who owned the silent celestial balance? Upon discovering that it belonged to a member of the Black Moon sect, he realized that an infiltrator from the Black Moon sect was within the academy, and had positioned a silent celestial balance outside. As a precaution against him, Nhu Wei approached and asked, "What's the matter, Moon Fang leader?" Tu Luong announced a significant revelation. How did a small agent of the Black Moon sect infiltrate so easily? Nhu Wei was stunned. The asterisk Black Moon sect? Tu Luong turned and declared. From this moment, the asterisk Moon Dual sect asterisk will take control of this area. No one is allowed entry. I will handle the rest. The crowd remained bewildered. When did the asterisk Black Moon sect asterisk get here? The purple-skinned girl realized. So that terrifying woman was a beast tamer from the asterisk Black Moon sect. The gray-haired girl from the asterisk Spirit Moon sect asterisk wondered. Weren't they banished to the northern region by the asterisk Moon Dual sect? Could they be back because of the asterisk Tranquil Star Phantom Moon? The red-haired girl from the asterisk Lunar Institute asterisk expressed concern. Moon Fang leader said it's just a small pest. But what should we students do? Nhu Wei quickly replied. There's a teleportation stone. It shouldn't be a big issue. Tu Luong stared at the glowing barrier. The asterisk silent celestial balance asterisk is reserved for emperors. Could it be that the asterisk Black Moon sect truly believes I have an emperor-level beast? In other words, once I enter, I may have to face not just a supreme-level beast. This could be the most dangerous situation I've ever encountered in my life. If it were me when I first arrived here, I definitely wouldn't have had the courage to go in. Tu Luong thought. But now, maybe things are different. He stepped into the crowd. Who whispered in awe? Indeed, it's the Moon King. Such an overwhelming presence. He Jing, standing behind, felt uneasy. Moon Fang has actually entered. If Zhe Kai Toa calls for assistance, we might need to intervene. He thought. After all, the Moon King is still one of our academy's students. Thuong Nhu Wei contemplated. That does seem right. A man with a bushy mouth asked. So, what should we do? Should we all go in to help? He Jing interjected. No. If everyone's combined strength gets involved, it could alarm Tran Tin Yen Wei. My beast, which just revived, is still in a weakened state. I can go alone. It's not an issue at all. The two girls looked at him skeptically. His demeanor seemed unreliable. Thuong Nhu Wei found his behavior suspicious. Could he be part of the Double Moon sect? Why was he so concerned about Moon Fang's safety? The moment He Jing touched the barrier, it blasted him backward, causing everyone to gasp. He lay on the ground, coughing. What a fool. Were you imagining things too much? Said a girl with a butterfly tattoo on her thigh as she appeared. Looking down at him, even if your beast were at its prime, it wouldn't be enough to disturb Tran Tin Yen Wei. Dream on. He Jing, seeing the tattoo, froze in shock. The Double Moon sect's 12 moon shadows, and this is the 7th. Zhe Kai Toa. This is trouble. The 7th moon shadow continued. Also, haven't you heard the master's orders? From now on, this area is under the control of the Double Moon sect. He Jing regained his composure. She doesn't seem to have noticed Tin Mish Thien Zung asterisk or have any intention of entering. The situation could still be turned around. Within the asterisk Tran Tin Yen Wei barrier, Zhe Kai Toa searched tirelessly for the creature. 17 minutes had passed, yet there was still no sign of it. The others who had ventured in had disappeared. Low-level beasts within the range of supreme class strength couldn't possibly escape. Most of the students were terrified, crushing their emergency teleportation stones and fleeing. Good, Zhe Kai Toa thought. This way, no one will disturb me. She sensed something and turned to face a direction. There was a powerful aura emanating from a beast. She flew toward it, pushing through the smoke. I was right, finally. I found you. Tran Tin Yen Wei, truly worthy of being the supreme among weapons, radiant beyond compare. It was worth coming here to maintain the purity of this attribute. She said aloud. Even Tin Mish Thien Zung asterisk couldn't make a contract with it. She approached the great blade and spoke. Come with me. I know what you want. You rejected Emperor Thuong Wei and the Saintess of the Moon God's palace because they were born with the blood of emperors. You are a proud and arrogant weapon. You cannot accept the feeling of being underestimated. Though I may not compare to others, I am still a legitimate 6-star beastmaster. I will not treat you poorly, she declared. Extending her hand forward, she shouted, Moonlit abyssal blade, become part of me. Just as she was about to touch the blade, a radiant barrier emerged, blocking her. The snake woman was stunned. How is this possible? Am I being rejected? She muttered, clutching her head. Could it be that the Holy Mountain's judgment was wrong? Impossible. He said I was the most suitable one to subdue the moonlit abyssal blade. So what went wrong? Several figures appeared behind her. One of them stepped forward and shouted. It was you who defeated over 20 disciples of the Ling Yu sect. Wasn't it? We're here to avenge our fallen comrades. The young man noticed his fellow disciples lying injured on the ground. He rushed to one of them and asked what had happened. Learning that it was a woman from the Beastmaster Academy with black hair and snake-like eyes who had attacked. The young man rallied everyone. We must defeat this woman first. Then capture the moonlit abyssal blade. The snake woman laughed wildly, prompting the young man to angrily demand, "What are you laughing at?" She responded, "Things were already troublesome enough. And now a bunch of reckless fools has come seeking death. Do you think you can interfere with this?" With a command, she summoned, "Appear, my children." 3 beams of light shone, summoning 3 high-level beasts. The young man was shocked. They're all high-level beasts. That's beyond what any student can handle. And that terrifying aura. How many ruthless battles has it endured? The snake woman smirked. Don't just look at me. You have high-level beasts too. Don't you? Summon them, or you'll all perish. The 3 high-level beasts charged forward and swiftly dealt with the group. The snake woman turned back to the blade. Moonlit abyssal blade. Did you see that? Now, do you recognize my power? But the blade remained unresponsive. She clenched her teeth in frustration. Remnants of the Dark Moon sect are here, aren't they? At that moment, Tu Luong approached and remarked, "Seeing you so agitated makes even me want to laugh a little." The snake woman turned, eyes narrowing as she recognized him. "You've arrived, Moon King." Cautiously, she asked, "Are you here alone? As a mere 1-star beastmaster? Without your guards? Do you truly believe that having an emperor beast will grant you everything?" Internally, Tu Luong thought, "These fools really believe I possess an emperor beast. No wonder they dared to use the silent balance. They must think I cannot summon the emperor." Out loud, he said, "Snake seat, relying solely on an emperor beast does not grant you everything in the world. Whether or not the silent balance is here, the answer remains the same. So, before the Twin Moon sect seals this place." The purple-skinned girls stared and laughed. "All right, I get it. I'll order all the disciples in my sect to return. But I want to stay here and watch. Watch the fools who don't know their limits walk to their deaths." Hearing her sarcasm, the 2 girls felt a surge of irritation. This woman was truly insufferable. Too cowardly to risk herself, yet eager to see others' downfall. If it weren't for the powerful influence of the Hoang Tuyen sect, no one would tolerate her interference. The bearded man seized the chance, patting the 2 girls' shoulders and advising, "Let it go, right now. The situation is critical. It's time we decide who goes in first. To avoid triggering resistance, all beasts summoned must be of the Moonlight-type beast tamers. Secondly, the intrusion of supreme-level beasts will instantly provoke Tram Tin Yen Wei to retaliate against kin. Only beasts below the supreme level can enter." The red-haired girl speculated, "Is that why Wei Fuang hasn't shown up?" The bearded man nodded in agreement. "Perhaps so. We're here," the deputy principal announced, leading the students. The 3 onlookers exchanged uneasy glances, fearing that the students might face heavy casualties. The deputy principal noticed the purple-skinned girl's displeasure. Turning to the students, she said, "All right, students, we are about to step into Tram Tin Yen Wei's domain. Next, I will explain the rules. First, when Tram Tin Yen Wei is asleep, it is completely indestructible. Second, when it awakens, it will unleash random slashes, immediately disintegrating everything in its surroundings." Tu Luong lay down, reading a message from the white deer. Tram Tin Yen Wei, though possessing awareness and life, was utterly non-communicative. Back then, even Emperor Thuong Wei and the Moon God Palace had to retreat in despair. No matter who came, it was useless. Tu Luong sighed. "So, aside from sleeping, it just attacks. Are all supreme-level beasts this arrogant?" he asked. "Is there no time when it's calm?" "Exactly, but maybe not by its own will. This time, it came to the Northern Territory because it sensed an opportunity for evolution. Are you really not going?" Tu Luong turned off the phone, his mind wandering. Silly little thing. Subduing Tram Tin Yen Wei. What does that have to do with me? He imagined. If he were to subdue Tram Tin Yen Wei and fail, the news would spread like wildfire. The famed Wei Fuang met a tragic end, under the attack of a supreme-level beast. Wei Fuang sought his own death. The moon god Xian Deep was a scam. Song Wei sect becomes a laughingstock. Just thinking about it made him feel like spitting blood. Such a ridiculous event could be remembered in history. Tu Luong sat up suddenly. A possibility crossed his mind. Back at the site where Tram Tin Yen Wei appeared, the group of students cautiously made their way along the ravine. The snake woman infiltrated among them. Glancing around, she was slightly surprised that Wei Fuang hadn't come. If it were him, he surely would have a way to subdue Tram Tin Yen Wei. What the hell? Is there such a significant difference between supreme-level creatures? How did that snake woman, Zhe Kai Toa, manage to protect herself? Tu Luong glanced back and stayed silent. Tram Tin Yen Wei had already raised its blade to strike. If there was still no way to stop it. Thinking quickly, Tu Luong shouted, Dap Van Tri Wei, save me. A few minutes earlier, outside the glowing barrier, a young man who had been defeated by the snake woman returned to report to the elder. Elder, did you hear? Everyone is saying that a woman from Moonlight Academy's Beast Tamer Division attacked us. Someone from Moonlight Academy's Beast Tamer Division? How could such a thing happen? The elder of Lin Wei sighed. Everyone, calm down. That wasn't someone from the academy. It was a high-ranking follower of the Black Moon cult. She added with a sigh. In reality, for an ordinary student to encounter a high-ranking follower and survive is already considered lucky. She glanced at the seventh moon underling from the Double Moon cult. Puzzled, why was this woman so calm? Wasn't she concerned for Moon King's safety? The seventh underling snapped to attention, opened her eyes wide, and shouted, Tram Tin Yen Wei has been provoked. Panic spread through the crowd as she immediately ordered everyone to retreat. She then turned her gaze toward the glowing barrier. But that fleeting aura, was it from the Emperor of the Great Leader? Ho Trung Wei had managed to block an attack from Tram Tin Yen Wei Tu Luong grew anxious. He had called the name. So why was there no reaction? Was it because of this enchantment combined with the combat abilities of Tin Mish Thien Zung Isolating the sound? Less than 3 seconds remained before Tram Tin Yen Wei would break through Ho Trung Wei's defense. But times had changed. Tu Luong whipped out his phone and rapidly texted the white deer. Tram Tin Yen Wei brought its blade down forcefully. Tu Luong struck a bold, dragon claw hand stance, targeting the chest of Tram Tin Yen Wei A burst of light flashed, and an explosion erupted. The seventh moon underling of the Double Moon cult created a barrier to protect those behind her. She wondered whether the source of this might be the Emperor. If it wasn't an illusion, then the situation inside might be more complex than they had anticipated. Niu Wei spoke with concern. Is the Moon King still inside? The snake woman emerged from within the great serpent, coughing violently. She could no longer sense Tin Mish Thien Zung It might have succumbed to the influence of Tram Tin Yen Wei Tram Tin Yen Wei had calmed down. The snake woman looked around frantically. Where was Moon King? He had been closest to Tram Tin Yen Wei just now. Why was he nowhere to be seen? Had he been decapitated by Tram Tin Yen Wei leaving no trace behind? The snake woman stared at her hands and covered her mouth in shock. So, it was my scheme that provoked Tram Tin Yen Wei Does this mean I defeated Moon King?